The 2025 interest rates are going to make a small group of people very rich and a lot of people very regretful. It's no different than 2020 when people were building over list price by maniacs and the public was saying the same thing. These houses are overpriced. 56% of homes in June of 2021 went over the list price. And since June of 2021, the average American has made $160,000 in equity. So I have this question for you. How many times are you going to be wrong while other people get rich in real estate? On today's episode, Bill and I are going to continue our war against the lies that people are told about interest rates and show you how 2025 is no different than 2020. Those who are willing to ignore the public, ignore the dumb masses, and just charge in ahead will make money, and the scared, sniveling sheep masses are going to continue to stay broke. Bill, thanks for joining us as always.
Brandon, that was awesome. It's true. It's so true.
It is true. Being in real estate is like being in the Matrix. It's like being Morpheus, right? I'm standing over here and I'm watching people get rich. Everyone I know who bought a house in 2020 is just up equity, up equity, up equity. I mean, I'm seeing it. I go and check the houses that I sold in 2021, up 200 grand, up 100 grand, up 175 grand, up 120 grand. All my clients are making buku money. And yet you go on social media and people are like, oh my God, real estate's crashing. I said, what? Every house I buy is appraising over the value. How is there such a disconnect between reality and what people see on social media, Bill?
It's all about what the perception is. They just think right now, oh my gosh, the payment is too high. They look at mortgage payment. Mortgage payment is higher than it's been, right? But you know what? That's not going to be the case forever.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is obviously you are negotiating closing costs, free money for closing costs. Yeah. You're negotiating for 2-1 buy downs.
Yeah.
You're getting interest rates lower than the marketplace. And at the same time, people that are jumping in right now, they are the ones that are going to look back and go, man, I'm glad I bought. We were talking about that in 2021, 2022.
Yes. When people tell me mortgage rates are higher, I go, well, yeah, we're making $180,000 in equity. Okay. The best example is this. Okay. Bill, do you want a job working at Google, making $400,000 a year, all the health benefits, all the perks? Google pays your kid's child college education. Do you want that job, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. How expensive is it to get a computer science degree? Is it more expensive than it was 10 years ago?
I don't know.
It is. It's significantly
I got to believe it's higher.
Right? Because the second that these jobs started paying more money, they started charging more for the degree. There's a gate there. There's always a gate to money. Do you want to be a professional football player, Bill? Do you want to be a professional basketball player? Okay. Be 6'6" and train every day of your life for this, right? There's always a gate to entry to a lot of money. People who make money understand that the gate to entry for real estate is higher mortgages. But on the other side of those higher mortgages is extremely high equity, okay? So what we want to start with today is how much people paid over list price in 2020 and 2021, because we want to show people that 2025 is no different, right? Real estate works on a very easy chart, Bill. You have low interest rates and housing prices skyrocket. Or you have higher interest rates and housing prices are negotiable, cheaper, and you can get deals. The only time you get low interest rates and low prices are when we have a disaster like a war, a depression, or COVID. But Bill, if you're waiting on a natural disaster to buy a house, your life is the natural disaster, right? You're literally waiting on a miracle, chaotic event before you make a major life decision. That's a disaster of a life, Bill.
It's not a good situation to be in. If you're waiting for that, it's not gonna make life a good life for you.
No.
It's not. Going back to the 2020, 2021 COVID time period, from a mortgage finance standpoint, it was really hard, honestly, to get some of these people approved.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why? Because a lot of these properties were coming in above above
appraisal.
list price.
Uh-huh.
So people would buy the house for say $350,000, but it would appraise for $325,000.
Yep.
And people would have 5% down, but that was based on the $325,000. They were missing $25,000. And it was like, what are you going to do? Well, the seller might negotiate, they may not. And the seller's like, I'm not going to, I got 4 other offers coming in.
Yes.
And so it was hard because not only did they have to come up with money to make up the difference between the appraised value and the sale
100%.
price, they had to come up with the money for the closing costs on top of that. So you're talking like $37,000 extra. It was hard.
Yes, but people have short memories. Bill, I talk to people every day on our live channel. They don't even remember 2021. They don't even remember that people were paying $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 over the appraisal. And now half the clients that we put under contract are paying $10,000 under the appraisal. There's no, look, Bill, we have to say the truth here. There's a reason that 10% of the world is up here and 90% is down here. Because 90% of the people want this perfect universe where they both get houses for cheap and also make a bunch of money. They never want to bite the bullet, right? In June of 2021, 56.5% of sales closed above the list price.
I believe it.
Okay. The average sale to list ratio was 102.6%. A $400,000 house was listed and it was selling for $410,000. Okay. In Las Vegas of September of 2021, I was there. 58% of all offers faced bidding wars. Dude, Bill,
it's all over the place.
If my clients found a house in 2021, I told them, put your best offer in right now because there's going to be 6 other people trying to buy right now. Why? Because the interest rate's 3%. Well, what about repairs? They're not going to make repairs. Well, what about an inspection? That don't really matter. They're selling the house as is. Well, what if it comes in under appraisal? You're going to pay for it. Why? Because there's 10 other people who want to buy the house right now, right?
And one thing I want to point out on the appraisal, like if the appraisal is higher, you cannot finance more than the sale price. You can't finance that. You have to come out of pocket for that amount.
Yes.
And that's what people were doing.
100%.
And they were trying to get gifts. They were trying to get
100%.
this. And it was just like, it was hard.
Yeah.
Today, honestly, I'm looking at it. There's sometimes one offer on a home that's been listed for 60 days. The seller's like, please buy my freaking home, right? And they're just like, help me. I'll pay the solar off. I'll pay your closing costs. I'll do a buy down. There is like so much negotiating power.
Yes.
And the money they have to come up with today is like so much less than what it was back then. And this is the time to get rich.
Yes.
Because you buy at a time when it's a buyer's market. It is a buyer's market.
100%.
Now, so what do they do about the mortgage payment?
Well, that's the thing.
If they can't afford it.
That's the thing. If you can't afford the mortgage payment, you need to look for houses that are within your mortgage range, right? One of the biggest things we talk about with people is afford. Afford is a very strong word, right? People can always afford to have fun. We notice that. People can always afford to have fun, right? They can afford to party, they can afford to drink, they can afford a lot of things. So afford is a very subjective word, right? I think paying $32 for Uber Eats and DoorDash, I can't afford that. A lot of Americans think that they can afford that, right? So afford is a different word. Now, if you want to buy a house that falls within your lifestyle budget, if you prioritize having fun and your lifestyle over buying a home, I understand that. Then don't complain that houses are too expensive. I think partying is too expensive. I think alcohol is too expensive. I think cannabis is too expensive. I think traveling is too expensive. I think going out and getting drunk with your friends is too expensive. I think DoorDash is too expensive. I think Uber Eats is too expensive. I think television is too expensive. I think going to the movies is too expensive. I think going to sporting events is too expensive. I can't afford any of that stuff.
That was 10 things you just rattled right off your head. That was impressive.
The average person can afford that, right?
Yeah.
They've decided that those things are more important than owning a home. but then they want to turn around and say houses are unaffordable. You're right. You cannot live your renter degenerate lifestyle and also afford a house. I'm sorry, that's not how the world works, right? So the word afford is a very tricky word for me.
It is. And I think there is a difference. Like your client this morning, I had a client with you this morning, consultation.
Mm-hmm.
What they can afford in terms of getting approved for a mortgage was twice what they really want to pay in terms of a mortgage payment. And that's fine. You have to work within your budget and understand what your personal budget is to afford the other things that you want to live your lifestyle on. But it's not going to, the house and the lifestyle that you have, that's not going to change. The market is not going to change to a level that you can get both at the same time.
You cannot. You do not get to.
There's a sacrifice.
You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Why do these phrases exist forever? Okay. If you want to afford all the dumb, degenerate YOLO things, you can't afford the house, right? When I was saving up for my house, I didn't get to travel. I had to cancel all my television subscriptions. I had to stop going to Starbucks, right? If I ate out, it's because I was filming content, right? Like I couldn't afford those things and afford the house that I wanted. We had to make sacrifices. A lot of people want to have their cake and eat it too. That's a result of a whole political thing, so we're not going to get into that, but that's just the truth, okay? So segment number 2. Why should people want to afford these houses, right? Again, let's go back to 2020. Everybody mythologizes low interest rates. Low interest rates, 3%, 2%. Okay, so not only were you paying $30,000 over the list price at 3%, not only were you paying all of your closing costs, not only were you not getting any repairs done, not only was the seller not giving you refrigerator, washer, dryer, none of that stuff, okay? Let's talk about the equity that people gained, okay? To buy a house in 2021, you had to make sacrifices. You had to be comfortable paying $20,000 over the list price. So you had to truly believe in your house, okay? What did those sacrifices get you? In June of 2020, the median home price in Las Vegas was $325,000. The current median home price in Las Vegas is $485,000, which means the median person, right, the most average or median number for people is a gain of $160,000 in equity. 50% appreciable value, Bill. Now, here's the thing. Everybody watching this, did you call houses overpriced? When you were seeing people pay $40,000 over the list price, were you sitting there going, houses are so overpriced. It's a bubble, man. It's going to crash, man.
You're crazy.
It's a bubble, man. Have you admitted that you're wrong? Huh? Have you admitted that you're wrong? Or are you still on the houses are going to crash? That's the thing, Bill. These people who are convincing and lying to you, they get to always win because they never just admit that they're wrong. In 2020, they said, paying over list price, these houses are going to be underwater, man. This is a bubble, man. And now that people have made $160,000 in equity, they go, these interest rates are unsustainable, man. This is crazy. It's like they get to always win, right?
They do.
50% appreciation in 5 years. The national, now Vegas is obviously one of the higher ones, but the national context was 38 to 52%. That's on a national level, Bill. That's a national level. So these people's sacrifices earned them a shit ton of equity.
Yes.
Right? And you saw it
some
too.
Stability. And I see it all the time. I see a lot of these people now that they got into the house when they were just getting married. Mm-hmm. They bought a townhouse, getting married. All of a sudden, since 2021, they had their first child. Then, oh no, they had twins.
Yep.
All of a sudden, they got 3 kids in a little townhouse. But guess what happened? They bought it at a time when, they were told probably not to buy it because it was so high. You're paying over list price, all that kind of stuff. Now they're using that. They're actually keeping that townhouse as a rental property. They have saved enough money to buy a new house,
Yep.
knowing what they didn't know back then, but they know now that real estate's pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good.
And now they can buy a house and have the seller pay for their closing costs
Yep.
and then they can refinance or lower their mortgage rate down when the rates do drop and get a lower payment.
They can't lose.
So they could sell that house and take the equity
Yes.
and buy the next house. But you know what they're doing? They're renting that house
Yep.
because they got a little bit lower mortgage payment because of the house lower.
Yep.
And now they're actually renting it for more than what their mortgage payment is.
Yeah.
And then they can use it to offset their new mortgage payment. It's like it's a long-term. Real estate is long-term.
It is long
And
term.
it's many people just look at it very myopic. Like right now,
Dude.
this point in time, it's right now. But real estate is a 7, 10, 15,
Yes.
20 year
Yes.
lifetime.
It can even be a 5-year plan. But Bill, we talk to people every day on Real Estate Live. Most people don't have a 5-year plan. They want to be rich today, not 5 years from now, right? But that's again why 10% of the world is up here and 90% is down here. The 10% was willing to wait. They were willing it for the long game, right?
Yeah.
What you just described to me is the American dream. You buy the house by sacrificing. Buying that townhome in 2020 or 2021 means they sacrificed.
They sacrifice.
They had money saved. They were willing to pay over the list price. All their friends were telling them, dude, just wait for the prices to drop. There's going to be a crash. And they had to ignore their friends. They had to ignore the television. They had to ignore social media. They had to have the courage to make a decision. They sacrificed, right? And what were they rewarded with, Bill? They have an investment property in 5 years. So all their friends who are renting, told them that the market's going to crash, they're now renting their townhome. That's what happened. This is the truth, Bill. All the people that go online and tell you guys, man, real estate's crashing, they're renting homes from us.
Do you know that this last month, 20% of all homes sold were bought by investors?
That's insane.
Do you think the investors know that this is an opportunity
Yes.
to buy houses
Yes.
right now?
Right.
That normal percentage is like around 15, 14%. And now it's 20%. Why is that, Brandon?
There's nothing people without money like more than pretending that they're smarter than people who have money. That's the truth. People without money, their one way to soothe themselves, it's their ultimate ointment. It's their aloe vera. It's just pretending that they're smarter than people with money. And they might be, but not when it comes to business. Not when it comes to making money.
I think the hardest part, though, honestly, is trust. It's like, who do they trust? There's like a gazillion people on the internet talking about this, talking about going to crash, talking about the rates are too high, talking about you got to buy now, you got to buy now. And they're like, oh, you're a salesperson. Of course you're going to say that. Why would you not say that? How do you trust people?
I think the word is belief. Faith and belief, right?
Mindset?
No, faith and belief. If you see somebody who's rich, they have belief and faith. They do. The people who I see, I grew up poor. I've been around poverty my whole life. You know what poor people don't have? Faith and belief. They don't believe in things. They don't believe in themselves, right? That's why they're cynical, because you can always find something miserable, right? But again, going back to 2020, to buy a house $20,000 over the list price, you need faith that you're making the right decision. You need to believe in real estate. And a lot of people don't have faith and they don't have belief. That's why they're so easily talked out of things. They see one social media video talking about real estate's crashing and they just jump to that because they have no faith in what they're doing. To get rich in America, you got to believe in something. Now, that something might be bad. There's some greedy billionaires who believe in dominating and beating people up, but they believe in it, right? It might not be a good thing, but they certainly believe in that thing, right? So, to clear it up, if you bought a house $30,000 in 2020 and 2021 and people called it overpriced, you're up $130,000 over that what you paid. Would you say it's Bill, if I told you you could give me $30,000 and I would give you $130,000, would you call it overpriced?
No, I would
Hey,
say,
Bill, this water costs $30,000. But 4 years from now, it's going to be $160,000. Do you want it?
Yes,
You'd be
I want it right now.
I want it
Give
right
it right now. Give
I
it to
want
me.
right now, right?
I need
Okay.
that.
All right. So let's talk about market dynamics. Okay. Today's current rate as of September 2025 is hovering around 6.5%. Okay.
It just dipped under 6.5,
Just dipped
6.49, according to Mortgage News Daily, which is a big psychological marker.
So it's under 6.5. Okay. Nationally, only 28% of homes are going above list price. And if we removed LA, San Francisco, Miami, New York, that number would probably be closer to 20%, honestly, right? In Las Vegas, only 16% of houses are going above list price. So when rates were low, 56% above list price. When rates are higher, only 16%. It's a 40% change in houses going over list. What we're seeing is houses come back to being negotiable, right? Buyers aren't forced to overbid like in 2021. But here's the good news, Bill. Vegas is still gaining 6.6% equity. We're still making tremendous amounts of money. You're just not having to overpay for it, right?
Yeah, and you can get the house that you want because there's a lot more inventory.
Yep.
And you're not lining up to bid against other people.
Yep.
And
100%.
I want to back up 1 second.
Let's go.
So conventional mortgage just under 6.5%. But what people don't understand is that the FHA mortgage and the VA mortgage, those rates you can actually get in the high fives right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's below 6%.
Yep.
Below 6%.
Yep. Let's run some more math by people because I want people to understand how much money they're leaving on the table by being afraid of the interest rates and mortgage rates. So the median house in Vegas has crept up to $485,000. The equity in Vegas is about 6.6%. Let's just make it easy and call it 6%, okay? 3% on $485,000 comes out to about $14,550. So Vegas at 6%, we're returning about $29,000 in equity on the median house.
So what were you talking about? 3%? 3% down payment?
Oh no, 3% gain
Oh.
is like a safe number,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because when you're talking about like a national average, when people quote the national equity average, it's typically either at 3% or 5%, depending if you're going median or average, right? Vegas is at 6%, which means the median house in Vegas is gaining around $29,000 in equity per year. So yes, is your mortgage higher? It is. You're also gaining nearly $30,000 from it. Like, that's the part they're not teaching people. They talk about boomers. Bill's a boomer. That's why we call him Boomer Bill. Boomer Bill was only paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 for a house, but Boomer Bill was only getting $1,000 to $2,000 in equity per year, right? Bill
Took
wasn't
a long time.
Bill wasn't buying a house and immediately flipping it for mansions. You're currently making damn near $30K just in equity on the median house, let alone the people in Summerlin who are sitting on, $500K in equity. We're talking about just like the median Vegas house, right? What we want to finish with and what blows my freaking mind is in 2021, everybody cried that houses were overpriced, but the interest rates were low. In 2025, people cry that interest rates are too high, but now the prices are low. A majority of people stay broke because they're always waiting for a perfect time. They're living in this Disney fantasy world and they refuse to grow up and acknowledge in the real world, you must sacrifice something to get money. If you're a gangster or an evil person, you must sacrifice your morality, your dignity, your pride to make money, right? If you're I'm not going to get in trouble on that one. No matter what you do, I was going to say the OnlyFans girls, but I'm not going to get in trouble. No matter what career Bill, how much time did you have to sacrifice with your kids and your family to get to where you are?
Oh, tons.
That's why they make songs
You have to work for it.
That's why they make songs called Dear Papa or Dear Mama. And they don't make songs called Dear Dad, thanks for keeping the lights on. because you have to sacrifice time with your family and your kids. Any rich guy that I know, any guy I know that's made it had to sacrifice something. But a lot of these people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s aren't willing to sacrifice jack shit to get rich. But that small group of people who are, willing to sacrifice their lifestyle, right? Because your mortgage is going to cut into your lifestyle budget, Bill.
You have to sacrifice something.
You have to sacrifice something.
You have to.
Something. You're going to have to sacrifice some of your lifestyle. But the people who are willing to sacrifice their lifestyle to become homeowners are going to be a part of that small group who 5 years from now, everybody looks back and wishes that they were them. Right now in 2025, how many of you look back and say, I wish I was those people in 2020 who bought, right?
We talked a little bit about this beforehand, and it's almost impossible to really timing the market. You can't do it.
Yep.
When they bought in 2021, were they timing the market? Were they going, oh, this is the best time to buy?
Yep.
People were telling them, no, you're paying over appraised value. You're nuts. Why are you doing this? Now, time in the market, they've got 5 years in the market now.
Yep.
And now they can look back and go, it's the time in the market, not timing the market.
When you,
it takes time.
It takes time. When Bitcoin dropped to 14K and the masses said, you guys are so fucking stupid. You thought money was going to get replaced by Bitcoin? The people who spent time on the market made millions and millions, and in some cases, billions of dollars. When you bought Netflix and Netflix plummeted to $220 a share, oh, you're so stupid. You thought Netflix was going to take over television? Now it's $1,000 a share. If you bought Costco, no matter what industry you're in, there's going to be people who always say that what you paid is overpriced. And you have to have the faith and belief. You have to be willing to sacrifice some tough times to get to where you want to go. And the small group of people willing to do that are going to get rich, while 90% of people are going to stay exactly where they are.
Can I give you one more little stat?
Give it to me, baby.
This is it. Okay. So JP Morgan, big company, trillions and trillions of dollars. It's Chase and all that good stuff. They did a study, and they looked at the S&P 500, the Standard & Poor's 500 stocks, and you could buy an index fund. And they looked at it over a 20-year period. If you were in the market all 20 years, you made a rate of return of 8.2% during that time period. Okay. If you missed just 10 days, the 10 best days in those 20 years, your rate of return went to 4.2%. If you missed the 20 best days out of 20 years, I'm talking 20 days you missed in 20 years, it was 2.1%.
Jesus.
If you missed 30 days, the 30 best trading days in 20 years, your rate of return was 0.
Jesus.
It's you have
can't
to
time it.
You can't time it.
You can't time it.
In real estate, same way. You have to get into the market and wait over time.
100%. It's no different. Okay. Imagine if you jumped into the real estate market in 2022 instead of 2021, right? You missed your boom, right? It's all about time on the market. And that's what we preach over and over. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not some magical cure all. We're teaching you the strategy that applies to everywhere in life. No matter what business you're in, it's not timing the market, it's time on the market. Even with social media. I jumped into social media at a great time, COVID. But I also posted 3 to 4 times a day. I wanted to make sure that my time on the market was more important than timing the market, right? Thank you for your time, Bill. Bill, if people are looking to refinance, if people are looking to get pre-approved so they can take advantage of this market, what's the best way to reach you?
Very simple. BillGaylord.com. It has all my, social. You can get it. You can apply. You can actually do a consult with me, which is free to go through. It's a simple pre-approval process, whether you're to buy now, 12 months from now, 6 months from now, just know where you stand. Understand what you need to get into so that you can go buy that house and be prepared to go buy a house with Brandon and make it happen.
Yes, you can also catch him at o.gaylord on Instagram and TikTok if you feel more comfortable messaging him there directly, okay? And as always, you guys, there's a real estate forum in my bio on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's in the information right below this page. I'm free. Bill's free. All you guys have to do is reach out to us, connect with us. We will help you any way that we can. We pump out more real estate information than anybody you guys know, but you have to be willing to believe in what we're saying, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there and let us help you. And I'm telling you, we will. So, Bill, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brandon.
And as always, come and be my neighbor. Peace, 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 peace. Austin loves when I do this so much. It's his favorite thing so much. Oh, congratulations to our baby daddy, Austin.
Baby daddy,
Second
Austin.
baby daddy. My dog, Austin, putting in work on them.
A new one.